Okay, this is a re-upload of the last video I made. I decided to make this a little more, well, just better in general, because the last one, I guess, was not showing up the pop-up screen, which is a very important step in editing these videos. So here's what we're going to do. So first, just to get started, just to set up the beginning portion to make the best quality for the video, go up here to File, click File, click New. Don't worry about that, it's just for me. Okay, you're on this screen right here. Now go up here and try to find the HD 60p 1280 by 720 59.940 FPS. This is generally the best thing you're going to get from Twitch videos if you're going to be editing Twitch videos. YouTube videos or any high quality video, obviously you're going to go up to the 1080. But choose this one right here and come down to frame rate. Frame rate, you want to pick the best one, 59.940, depending on the video quality obviously, but let's just go with the best one. And excuse me, I'm going to come down here to pixel format and choose the 8-bit, just remain in 8-bit, it's better. Now come for this one, this is important, the full resolution rendering quality, and choose best. Now this is generally the better format. So what you want to do is click start all new project settings with these settings and click OK. Now every time you open a new video, it will start with that format. If you're messing around with this, don't worry about this, it's going to be like that. So right click, open, choose your video, and it'll come right in. You can mess with the settings up here more if you want to mess with them, but it's all up to you. So let's start a clip. Let's go into the more detail of panning and cropping, which the last video decided to delete. So let's go back to the keys. You're going to use your arrow keys to move second by second to create the frame. So let's go back and let's get them outside of the shot. Again, same thing. Press S to snip it, and you can leave this other portion out, at least for my example. And you're going to come in here. Now, in order to choose the pan and crop, obviously, click on the event pan and crop, and this screen will come up now. And I know you guys can see it now because I tested it, so that's good. And as I was saying, you want to match this screen with this screen so you can edit it well. But before you do that, come over here to the left and you'll see these buttons: lock aspect ratio and size about center. So what you want to do is click enable snapping, lock aspect ratio, and size about center. Make sure these are all highlighted, including your normal editing tool and your show properties. And you're going to come down here to this one, move freely. Make sure you choose the X and Y coordinate so you can move all around everywhere. Now let's say you accidentally mess up and you just fucked it up and you did this. You're like, fuck, how am I supposed to reset this? I just completely fucked it up. Just right click on the side and say restore. It comes back to exactly the way it was. So now get this, move it to the left so you can see this. Down here you'll see a button that says sync cursor. Okay, when it's highlighted, now this video here is synced with this video. You can move it with the arrow key to go frame by frame, and as you can see, it is synced up with these two. Now, the way you want to be able to do this is to do a slow zoom into the person or a fast zoom. Depends on how much time you give the camera to zoom in. So if we want to do a slow zoom onto his body running out, what we'll do is we'll trace him coming up, and we'll see he's coming up, and about there we can say that's a good amount of distance for the camera to zoom in slowly onto him. We'll drag the camera onto his body like so, and we will stop right there just for now, just so I can show you. So now when we go back, press the play button. I'm sorry, let me turn this garbage music down. I'm going to press play, and you can see that it's slowly zooming into him. So that is, if you want to slow zoom, you want to give the frame of the pan crop enough time for it to move all the way across. So now let's say you don't want it. Open up the same thing and you want to delete it. You want to start over again. Oh, and another tip, just in case you do mess up, Control Z. Control Z is your best friend. It will just take you back to the last step. As you can see, it's going back through all of the steps that we messed around with. And I believe it is Control Y to go back forward. Yes, Control Y to go back forward to your settings. Okay, so let's just go back here. Now, let's say you want to get rid of this, and you created a bunch of them, so you don't really have time to keep Control Z. You want to just delete it completely and start over. Right click on it, cut or delete, and it'll set it back. Now you're where you began. Every little point you see inside of this index right here is a transition point for you. So if you want to reset all of them, delete them all, and it'll take you back. So let's say you want to do a fast zoom. Okay? So let's say you want to zoom in onto his head as soon as he enters that door. Like there. Press S to snip it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come here and do the same thing again. Click the pan event crop. Sorry, started here. I don't know why I'm misclicking. Anyways, so yeah, do that. Now what you're going to do is if you want to fast zoom in, what you're going to do is you're going to just take the thing at the very first step and zoom in onto his face. I'm going to try to recreate the same exact video if I can. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure this is highlighted. Double click on it again just to highlight it again. Move it one and just keep following his face, essentially. And keep ahead of the... This way you can keep up with his movements. And obviously it's getting ridiculous now. I'm going to go frame by frame and do this because this way the following zoom on the character will look much better. It wouldn't look messy. Now I'm skipping a couple of frames, but that's okay. The video is already very garbled here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out, and again I want to make it slowly come out. So I'm going to give it some space here. As you can see, there's some space between the last point I made and where the actual video is. Then I'm going to right click and say restore. If you want a slower zoom, let's go back. If you want a slower zoom, you can zoom it out like this, move ahead a little bit, open it up a little more, and this will give you a very, very slow zoom. But we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move up here and we're going to click restore. And in this sense, what it will do is create this. I'm pretty sure I muted this stupid fucking music. Anyways, so yeah. Press play. And again, I told you it's going to lag a little bit, so play it around 4 times. So keep replaying. I don't know if the video catches up to it. There you go. As you can see, it's following his head now. So as you can see, that's how it'd be done. Let's say you want to delete the sound again. Press U, separates the video and the audio clip. Now you can move either of them around. And yeah, this would give you power to change this. As I said before, I like to have ear rape. So what I do is I separate that sound portion into another tab and I increase the volume slider all the way to the max. So it's going to get a little loud, so heads up, but it's going to be like this. Yes, sorry about that. But that's how you would essentially do it. Now, let's say you want to create a slow-mo effect. That is also something people like to do. You hold control, you go to the very end of the video. You hold control. And when you hold control, you'll see the little squiggly line under the arrows. And it'll say time stretch. It will even give you the option, the wording time stretch rather than trim event to end. So you do it, you just drag it out and you would see the little lines, which means that you have been making it slow. So when you play it, it's going to be a little bit laggy. Again. Okay, this is getting really annoying. So we're going to do it 4 times. I'm assuming that's generally the amount of times I have to play it for it to show the preview well. But it looks like here it's having a lot of trouble. But that's how you would be slowing it. You can also do the same thing for the audio clip. So let's do the audio clip here too. And there you go. Now the video and the audio are synced, except this part here is not slowed down, which is not a problem. Now we're just going to Control Z, go back to regular old speed. Now let's say you want to speed it up. What you'll do is hold Control and bring it backwards this time. And you can see the lines are getting closer to each other. And from here on, you'll just press play. And it's laggy, but the output video would show that he's sped up. And that is one of the biggest pet peeves of Sony Vegas, is that the preview is always so messed up, but when you actually do render the video, it is like, I'm just gonna stop that. You get the point of that, and let's put it back to that. So as I was saying before, you can fade into the video. You can do it with the audio and the video, and usually you want to place them in the same length or same position so you can have, I guess, unity in a sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the video. Let's see how it looks. So that's a very short clip of him just zooming into it and ending. A small clip you want to create to add to a bigger project. It's not that difficult. This portion at least is not. Later on we'll be messing with the video effects, which will go more in depth on how to create those ridiculous faces and stuff like that. The glow effect, the punch, the pinch effects. These things are how you create those ridiculous looks for the videos essentially. So let's say you're done. Now let's say you don't even want this, and you can just delete it, or you could just keep it there if you're too lazy. As you can see up here, you see these little yellow points. You just click on top here and it'll show, the left and right arrow with your cursor. Now drag these yellow things to exactly where you want them. Exactly the video. Make sure you have no other video clip. Doesn't matter where you place them, honestly. But you go up here to the loop region, as it shows. You right click, and you could say render to new track. It will bring up this page. Now, you can name it whatever you want, but to render it properly, let's go to match project settings. Don't worry about that. What you want to do is come down to, which one was it? Main concept, which is, where did it go? Main concept, was it main concept 1 or 2? AAC, where is it? Here we go. Main concept ABC AAC. So click on this, and you're going to come down to Internet HD 720 or 1080, depending on how you want your video to come out. Now click on the Internet HD 720p customize template. Now when you come in here, you can obviously make more options. So when you're up here, obviously make sure you include the video, your frame rate, make sure it's at HD 720, and your frame rate is 29,970, the best. Adjust source to adjust frame rate to make sure you have that on. And you're gonna come here down, make sure that these settings are on, render using CPU only. The audio section, do not worry about that, just make sure the include audio button is on. And you can come here and do video rendering quality to best, and you go back to video, make sure, okay. So this is what you would do, and then you click OK. And now you can highlight the one that I just gave you. So you have it here. You can save it so it shows your project settings, whichever you want. I have a couple of ones testing. And there you go. That is how you would create the video. Now I'm not going to render it, but you just click OK and I'll render the video. And that is it. That is all I have. If you have any questions, comment, Discord. If you're on there, message me any way you can. I think I went over everything fairly well again. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this video comes out much better than the last one.